Hi everyone, Monique here, Little Gems Creations 1. Today we're going to be making a short sleeve Barbie sweater. And we're going to start that in just a moment. Hi everyone, Monique here, Little Gems Creations 1. Today we're going to work on a short sleeve Barbie sweater. You are going to need, oops, can you see that? You are going to need the 3.75 millimeter crochet hooks, knitting needles. I'm using the bamboo ones. You're going to need a darning needle. You're going to need some 4-ply worsted weight. Today we're using Red Heart with Love. It is a, where does it say? Right here, it's a 4 medium weight. Okay. And the color is a daffodil. Isn't it pretty? Okay, so we're going to start by making a slip knot. So the way I make my slip knot is I cross my yarn, go around my thumb, put the tail through the loop that was around my thumb. And there is my slip knot. But I'm going to give myself quite a bit of tail here because we are going to be sewing up with the tail. So, see what I did there? Okay. If you have another way of doing a slip knot, by all means, do it that way. We are going to cast on, just a sec, my cat is getting into stuff and I have to go move him. Sorry about that. I have officially kicked my cats out of the room. So to cast on, this is how I do it. Everyone does casting on different. I'm going to show you my way. Whatever way you get to cast on, like whatever way you prefer, is just fine. We're going to cast on a total of 14 stitches. So to start, let me just show you what I did. I go into the slip knot, yarn over, pull through, and then I put that back on the needle. So that counts as 2 stitches. Now for my next one, I go between the 2 stitches. Do you see that? Okay. Between the 2 stitches, pull through onto the needle. Between the 2 stitches, pull through onto the needle. We need 14 stitches. So I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Now I've been knitting for quite a few years, and you know what? I still count my stitches. So go back and make sure you've got 14. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Okay, so now we're going to do a ribbing. So what we're going to do is we're going to knit 1, purl 1. So to knit, you go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, and drop it. Then you're going to move your yarn to the front. You're going to go into this stitch, pull through, and here we go. So we're just going to do this. This counts as our first row of ribbing. Okay, we're going to do a total of 4 rows. Now, if you have one of those fancy row counters, by all means use that. Or you can be like me and I just use a piece of paper and pencil. Or I just keep it in my head, but I'm pretty tired today because I worked nights last night and I've only had a few hours sleep. So you want to do 4 rows of ribbing, knit and purl, knit and purl, 4 rows. Do that, meet me back. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start working in the stocking at stitch. Okay, so what that is we're gonna do 1 row of knit, 1 whole row of purl. So we're gonna want a total of 12 rows. So it'll be like 6 of knit, 6 of purl. So knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row for 12 rows, okay? 12 total. Those 4 of ribbing don't count of the 12. I know that is probably pretty clear, but I just want to be sure for anyone who's very, very new at knitting that they understand. This is a good tutorial for a new knitter who wants to learn a few different stitches. Now the basic stitches are knit and purl, but you're also going to be increasing and decreasing and casting on and casting off. So this is a good tutorial for that. Okay, so the other thing is, I thought I'd let you know that in the description, I'm going to put a link for my Etsy store, and I'll have the written pattern link in the description as well. So a link for the Etsy store so you can look at other knitted and crocheted, if you're a crocheter, knit and crochet patterns that are available. I've also designed a crochet journal, but I am planning to make a knitting journal as well. And what it is it just gives you, besides the regular journal stuff, you know, where you can write what you've done, it's going to allow you to also, you know, what size needles you use for what project, a little thing to keep track of that kind of stuff, and you know, just cut and paste. And it's going to be a digital download, so you can print as many pages as you need for each month or each day. I don't do it by day, I do it by month. So you'll get like January, and then you can just fill in the day, because yeah, that's just the way I do it. So yeah, do 12 rows of the stocking at stitch, 1 row knit, 1 row purl. This is my 4th row. You can use your stitch counter or row counter, or just a piece of pen and paper. And this Barbie sweater is worked all in one piece. This sweater that we're using, the worsted weight yarn, is more of a chunky style sweater for Barbie. You also could use it for Ken doll as well. Maybe a bit more snug on Ken doll. But the thing to remember is knitting is very stretchy, unlike crochet. So yeah. Okay, so 12 rows of this, and then meet me back. So we've done our 12 rows, and now what we're going to do is we're going to start our sleeve, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go between these 2 stitches, and we're going to cast on 5. So there's 1, because we're making this a short sleeve. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we should have a total of 19 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to knit across those stitches. So let's knit, oops. I'll knit across these stitches. And then when we get to the end of the row, we are going to cast on 5 more stitches. Okay, so we went across all 19 stitches. Now, just like before, we're going to cast on, going between the stitches. We're going to cast on 5 more stitches for the other sleeve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we had 19, so this will give us 24 stitches. Let's be sure. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Perfect. So now we're going to purl across this row. Okay. Purl across this row. Sorry, a little bit out of camera there. So we're going to purl across this row and then meet me back. Okay, so now for the sleeves, we're going to do 5 rows more, okay? So we're going to do a knit row, a purl row, a knit row, a purl row, and then a knit row, and then we're going to put in the neck. So 5 rows. So a knit row, we're keeping with stockinette stitch. So knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row, knit a row. Okay, so do that and meet me back. Okay, so I changed my mind. I want you to do 6 rows. I said 5, but I want you to end up with the knit row facing. So do 6 rows. Sorry about that, guys. I'm human. I do make mistakes. So do 6 rows so that you're on your knit row. Okay, do that, meet me back. Okay, so now we're going to make our head holes. So I want you to knit 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we're going to cast off. So you knit 1, 2, and you bring that one over the stitch you just did. Okay, so that's casting off 1. We want to cast off 6. Knit another one, bring it over. So that's 2. Knit another one, bring it over. That's 3. Knit 1, bring it over. That's 4. Knit 1, bring it over. That's 5. Knit 1, bring it over. That's 6. So you should have 2, 4, 6, 8, and 9. Knit to the end of the row. Okay, so this is our head opening, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to close our head opening with the next row. Okay, so we turn our work. We're going to purl 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now we're at the opening. We're going to turn our work so that the knit side is facing us, okay? Now we are going to cast on 6 stitches. So going between my stitches, I pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Turn your work so you're back on the purl side. And now we're going to purl the rest of the stitches. Okay. Now we're going to reverse everything we just did. So we did 6 rows of stockinette stitch. So see, there's our little head hole. See how this is a little bit different? You can put a stitch there and then that head hole will look just perfect, okay? Or not, whatever's up to you. Okay, so now we're going to do 6 stitches in stocking, or 6 rows, sorry, in stockinette stitch, and then meet me back and we'll do our cast off for our sleeves. Okay, so I've done my 6 rows. Look, it's coming together. See, and you fold it over. Isn't it adorable? Okay, 6 rows. So now we're going to cast off 5 stitches to get rid of that sleeve. So just like we did before, you're going to knit 2 stitches and pull the back one over top of the front one. So there's 1 cast off, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to knit to the end of the row. Okay, and if you haven't had a chance yet, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. I'm trying to do new videos every Thursday, so watch for them. They're not all knitting. I actually don't do that many knitting videos, but if you'd like to see more knitting videos, leave a comment. Tell me what you'd like to see done, because I do like knitting. I am slower at knitting than I am at crocheting, but I do enjoy knitting. And sometimes, you know, I have so many things I want to make, but sometimes I just don't, I get overwhelmed and I don't even know where to start. Okay, so we're turning our work, and now what we're going to do is we're going to cast off, but we're casting off in purl. So you're going to purl the stitch and purl the next stitch, and then it'll be stitch over stitch, okay? So 1, and we're casting off 5, 2, 3, 4, and whoops, and 5. Okay, so now you're going to purl to the end of your row. And like I said, there's going to be a link in the description for the written pattern. So look for it if you want to have a written pattern. This Barbie doll sweater is a hit. I sell a lot of them. It's really good at craft sales. But also, I've had people use them for church sales, like church donations. You know, like it knits up quick. It uses scraps. It's just awesome. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to continue in stockinette stitch back and forth on these stitches for a total of 12 rows. Do that, meet me back. Okay, you guys, we are getting to the home stretch. So you've done your 12, we've got our sleeves, you fold it over, so now we have to do the ribbing, but on this side. So you're going to do 4 rows of knit and purl. So just a refresher, knit, yarn to the front, purl, yarn to the back, knit, yarn to the front, purl. I want you to do 4 rows of this, okay guys? And if you haven't had a chance, I know I've said it before, but hit the like and subscribe. We used to have a little bell. I don't know, on my phone it's disappeared, so I don't tell people to ring the little bell, but maybe it's still on the computer version or something. I do everything on my phone, so. But if you want notifications of new videos, hit the little bell. Doesn't always work, so that's why you just need to look back on Thursdays. I do a new video every Thursday. Not all of them are knit. Actually, quite a few of them are not knit. But if you want more knit videos from me, leave a comment. And leave a comment of what you'd like to see. If you'd like to see more Barbie clothes, like what in particular. So far I've done Barbie sweaters, Barbie pants, Barbie dresses, Barbie pants and Barbie sweaters in knit. I think I did 1 Barbie dress in knit. And I think I did a Barbie purse in knit. And I also have done them in crochet. So see, as we've been talking, I've already almost finished 2 rows of this ribbing. Yeah. So see, this is why I say it's such a good video if you're new to knitting, because you get to practice all these stitches, and it's a project that's not going to take you 400 years to finish. That's one of the things that gets me down about knitting, is because I am slower at it, my projects take longer. And yeah, I get bored. I get bored of it. And that's never a good thing. Okay, so 4 rows of this ribbing, and then meet me back. Okay, so now we're going to do our binding off, okay? So we're going to continue with our knit and purl. So we're going to knit 1, purl 1, and then that first stitch comes over. Okay, then we're going to go to our knit, and that stitch comes over. Then we're going to go to our purl, and that stitch comes over. Then we're going to go to our knit, that stitch comes over. Purl, that stitch comes over. So we're going to do this to the end of our row, and then oops, there we go. Here we go. Whew. It's a hot day here. I am boiling. Okay, and then our last stitch, yarn over. Okay, so we want again a nice long tail because we're going to use it to sew up our side. So put your tail through your loop. tail through your loop, pull tight. Okay, so now with your right sides together, we are going to sew up the sides. So put it on your yarn needle or your darning needle. Oh, that didn't work very well. Okay, there we go. And we're just going to do a whip stitch, okay? So what is a whip stitch? You go in one side. I always do double with the first stitch because that's where the most stretch will be. Or stress, not stretch. And then you just go along the side. Whoops. Hit the camera. Okay. So from the one side to the other. But always start on the same side. That's how I do it. If you have a different way, by all means, do the different way. Whatever works for you. Okay, and some people have mentioned, why is it that the sleeves are a little bit, you know, it looks like one of the sleeves is a bit wider than the other. It's not. It all worked out in the end. So, and even if it is a little bit, don't worry about it. Barbie doesn't complain. Okay, so then when I get to the end of my sleeve, I always put an extra stitch because that's where it'll have the most stress. And then I go back down. I'm going to do a knot. So I make a loop. And then I'm going to go through the loop once, through the loop twice, pull tight, never cut where you knot. So I'm going to do a few more stitches. Ouch. Try not to poke myself. There we go. Okay, and now I'll cut. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, we're going to whip stitch up the other side, and if you want to put a stitch right here where it's kind of loose, you can put a stitch right there. Okay. Okay, so whip stitch this side, beat me back, and I'll show you what I mean by putting a stitch right in the neck. Okay, so here's what I was saying. So see this little stitch? There's one little stitch that's a little bit loose. I'm just going to take a little bit of my scrap yarn. I'm just going to put a stitch there. Okay, a couple of stitches. Barbie's head will still get through there, no problem. But it just tightens that up. Then I'm going to put a little knot. Okay, and then I'm gonna hide my stitches. Not my stitches, hide my thread. Because you never cut where you knot. Okay. There we go. Now we're gonna turn the sweater inside in. And there you go, guys. Isn't that adorable? It is so cute. See? There you go. And if you want, you can put buttons, you can sew on some beads, you can very carefully do an iron-on patch. You know, there's all kinds of options to do with this sweater. So, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and have a great day. Bye now.